give me a big yeehaw because we're going right into the next speaker, and we need to make sure that we're attentive, get our blood pumping. I know we can't move around. There she is. There she is. Miss Susan Erickson, the founder of Susan Erickson Coaching. Listen, I got a little fun fact about this chick, okay? Oh, yeah, I have fun facts about some of you. Did you know she is a Taekwondo champion? What?
Was.
What? I also asked her who she looks up to as a businesswoman, and she said Brene Brown. And so I think that is awesome. I love Brene Brown. So there you go. Little connection piece there for you. Let me tell you just right quick that she has taken the art and science of coaching and put them together to help create her coaching program. And so I'm going to step out of the way. Susan, the stage is yours.
Oh, thanks so much, Denise. And yeah, yeehaw! Who's ready today? I just love all the energy and the fun that you bring to this. So thank you so much for that. And just to tag along with what Kim said, along with we can't help but bring up others when we bring up ourselves, right? When we live our most abundant lives in our highest vibration, we can't help but raise others up with us. And so that's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about what I do, and how that happens in life, my own life as well as everyone else's. And so thank you all for having me here today. Susan Erickson, I am a mindset abundance coach, and I'm also the owner and the CEO of the Holistic Institute of Wellness. And today, though, I'm going to talk about abundance and our mindset of abundance. And so you might be thinking, well, how does that fit into social selling, right? My mindset of abundance. Well, our mindset really is about all areas of our life. Oftentimes when we talk about mindset of abundance or abundance, we jump right to our financial piece, which that is a big piece of that. I'm not going to deny that. And it's a big piece of our business and of our careers as well, but it encompasses all of our life, right? So we need abundance in all areas, in our careers, in our relationships, in our health, in our wealth, in all of in our spirituality, in all of our areas. And when one of those is lacking, it tends to throw off the others as well. So finding abundance in all of those is what brings us to our highest and best self. And so again, I mentioned, how does that impact our social selling, right? Because that's what we're all about in these few days here on the summit, is social selling. And our mindset, when we show up for social selling on our networks, on our, whether it's Facebook or, gosh, when I was looking at Sue's whole list of things there, I was with somebody here like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what some of those are. So I've never, but rather they are things that we do on a regular, consistent basis, or things that we're exploring new ways for us to connect with people. It's how we show up. If we show up in that abundant mindset, if we show up in a growth mindset versus a scarcity mindset. So I think many of you are probably familiar with that, right? A growth mindset and a scarcity mindset. And so we might ask ourselves, do we have a growth or a scarcity mindset? I'd invite you to consider that, because sometimes in one area of our life, we're going to have a growth mindset. And in another area, it might be more of a scarcity mindset. You know, people have mentioned, so Shar was mentioning our limiting beliefs around money, right? What do we grow up with? Do we have a scarcity mindset when it comes to there's never enough? Or if I just did a little more? And sometimes we bring that in subtle ways to our business or our careers as well. And when we do that, it can be things like, if I just had a little more experience, if I just had that one more certification, if I just could get that one more thing, right? Reach that one more level, then I would be there. Then I could do it. Well, that's a form of a scarcity mindset, because honestly, we already have everything we need within us. And I'm not going to discourage you from getting a degree or discourage you from getting a certification. I've done all that myself, right? I have an undergrad, I have a master's, I have about 3 certifications, right? I've done that whole thing too. That doesn't mean that you can't start and you can't do the things that you are called to do. Don't let those things hold you back. Don't let not having that degree or not having that certification get in your way. You can get that along the way if that's something that's a requirement. But I can't tell you, I don't think anybody has ever once asked me if I'm a certified life coach. I am, but people don't ask that question. They don't ask me, do you have a master's degree? Nobody's ever asked me that. Now, in my career as a COO, I did have to fill out an application, right? And you have to list that on there. So there are certain jobs, if you will, that you're not going to maybe qualify for if you don't have certain experience or certain qualifications. However, you oftentimes can get that along the way. So don't ever count yourself out from that. There's this study, and some of you may have heard of this, about applying for a position. And this was an actual study that was done, and they put this out there. They posted a position with these qualifications, and they posted it for $50,000 a year, I think. And they got all of these applications. They posted this exact same job with the exact same qualifications for $200,000 a year. And they got 10% of the number of people that applied for it. Because just based on that, people think they're not going to qualify. And it's the exact same qualifications. So I'm going to invite you to consider, do you have something in your mindset that's holding you back? That's keeping you from living that most abundant life, from having your most abundant business, career, entrepreneur, new business, maybe new line that you might want to start. And so that also, again, shows up in our social media, right? So when we show up on our Facebook Lives or on our StreamYards or all of the other platforms that we show up on, how do we show up? Do we show up thinking, oh, I don't really know how to do this. I don't exactly know what I'm doing. And I can tell you, we probably all have a little bit of that feeling before we start something new. And it's okay. However, to show up on screen, online, feeling confident, that comes across just as much as it does in person, right? And we know that. It comes across. Sorry, was somebody asking a question? Okay. That degree is on my wall, but look at me now. That's right. Yeah, right. So that's where our degrees tend to stay, is on our walls. So the basis for living abundantly is really to live authentically, right? To live our values. And as Susan Fessendren pointed out this morning, our values, I love having those all in one place. But how do we have our values then show up in our business? And I invite you to consider, have you sat down and written down what your values are? Have you made a list of them? And how are they showing up in your life? But more importantly, for what we're talking about this week, is how are they showing up in your business? How do your values show up in your business? How comfortable are you with that? Can you really articulate that? And if not, then I would encourage you to make that little shift. And sometimes it's just a really slight shift. And it starts with your thinking, right? It starts with our mindset and how we think about our business and what we do with it. So we really need to be able to state what those are. And if you're not living your values in your business, it's either a process or it's a mindset. So I invite you to consider, are your processes in place? And I'd invite you to consider, do you have the right mindset about your business? On why you're doing, and the why of your business. That it's for you and not for somebody else, if you will. and that it's your values and not somebody else's values, not what somebody expected of you, but what you have in place and what you want it to look like. So how are some ways that we show up authentically on social media? Well, first of all, it's just meeting our clients where they're at, right? So if we're using the language that resonates with us, that's also the language that resonates with our clients. And again, it isn't for everybody. We've heard that all day, right? And yesterday, your message needs to be specific to your audience, and your audience isn't everyone. It's not like throwing the spaghetti at the wall. It is having that clear message, and it is using that language that's going to, and those words that are going to resonate with you, that then will resonate with your audience. So if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel authentic to you, it's going to come across that way. So you need to be using and speaking that language, which is going to then attract and be the magnet for those people that you're going to draw into your business. And they're going to be drawn to you authentically, because that's how you're showing up and that's what they're looking for, right? And that's what they relate to. And then to stay active online, which doesn't mean just posting every day. It also means to follow up with and reply to messages. So if you post something and somebody replies to that, you should obviously reply to that, but you should also go out and reply to other people's posts and messages, right? So get yourself a little group. We've done that in a group that I'm in, that we've committed to each other, that will check every other day and make a little comment on our posts. So that's a good way to do it. Connect with a few other people and say that, commit to each other that you're going to do that, or just go out and do it. Just go out and commit to yourself. Put it, as somebody said, put it in your book, put it on your calendar, that on this day, I'm going to spend 10-15 minutes just commenting and replying to other people's posts. And that's how you get people to respond to you, as well as that's how you build that rapport with other people and get to know each other. And as Haley is saying, it's about life, right? It's not, people don't go on social media to be sold to, they go on to be social. And that's how we are social. If we look at it as a conversation that we're having back and forth, and we're learning about other people. And I really think that's one of the great things that came out of 2020 was our ability to do, or our at least acknowledgement of doing more things online and meeting more people and connecting in so many different ways. And I know personally from my own business, I always kept saying, oh, I want to do more online. I want to do more virtual, but I never really stepped out and did it, right? It's like, okay, then I was forced to, right? It's sort of like being pushed out of the nest. It's like, okay, now you got to do this. So then I was forced to learn how to do that. And it was one of the best things that ever happened. So now having clients across the world, across the US, people I never would have met before, having friends that I never would have had before, had I not been as active online as I am, it would have never happened. So there's a lot of things that are so good that came out of that. Even though we tend to look on 2020 sometimes as being a turning point for some other negative things, it's a turning point for some really positive things as well that has happened in our lives, or at least in my own life. That's right. Jill says, I never have met you unless we were online, because she's in the UK. And I am in Iowa, by the way, the middle of the US, and where not too many people are that I coach really are directly around here anymore. I do coach a few in person, but I have a lot of virtual anymore. So back to, how do we show up authentically on social media? Well, really stay classy, right? Don't get sucked into those arguments that people have. Everybody has an opinion. It's okay. And it's okay if people don't agree with you. That's perfectly fine. I'm never going to argue with somebody that they have to see my point of view. Everyone has their own point of view. That's perfectly okay. And so don't get sucked into those arguments that start and just kind of spiral out of control sometimes online. And if I ever do see something start to go that way, I just remove myself from that, right? Because first of all, I know I'm never going to convince someone to believe what I believe by arguing with them online. That's never going to happen. And secondly, I think it just says a lot about me if that's what I'm doing. And that's not the kind of people that I want to attract. That's not the kind of people I want to coach. That's not the kind of people that I want in my Facebook group. That's not a holistic practitioner that would resonate well with the people that and clients that I work with. And then it's also by word of mouth. So just, again, engaging your supporters, whether that's through posts or whether that's through comments or whether that's on YouTube or through having an interview, however that works. And I've done that with other people too. Having interviews back and forth online, that's always a good way, right? Because you have a good conversation like that. And then experiential learning, experiential coaching. I'm really big into experiential. And so I want to save a few minutes here at the end that we're going to try a little experience as well. But I love experiential learning. Way back in the day, my first attempt at college was lower elementary education, and I loved experiential learning in the educational field, the Montessori schools, etc. So for those of you that don't know, experiential learning uses all of our senses, or as many of our senses as we can with whatever it is that we're learning. So our sense of touch, smell, sight, hearing, and there's 5. So what we're leaving out: sight, touch. Am I supposed to be letting these people in? Okay, thank you. So using as many of our senses as we can. And so when we're doing, quote, experiential marketing, what does that look like for when we're virtual and we're online? Because it's really hard, right? I mean, typically we're using visual and maybe audio. So maybe it's just visual if it's just something that we're reading or that we're seeing. It's just a visual that we see. It may be also auditory if we're having like this, where we have a little clip or something that we're showing. But how do we use any of our other senses in our marketing? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Well, if anybody's brave here today, I'm just going to invite you to just unmute, and I'd like to take whatever your tagline is, and we're going to look at how do we make that experiential, because the more senses that we use, the better that anchors with our clients, right? So the more senses we use, the more anchored we are with our clients. And the more we're going to connect with our ideal client, right? So I invite you if anyone's brave enough, just unmute, give me your tagline, and we're just going to work through. Okay, how do we bring other experiential learning into this tagline and connect with that ideal client?
I'm game.
All right, go for it. Who is that? Okay.
It's Tish.
Tish. Okay, Tish, what's your tagline?
My book title and the word I want to put into the dictionary at the same time. That's where I'm trying to narrow my focus. So Tishpiration is defined as the art of surprising yourself.
And I love that. Tishpiration, the art of surprising yourself, right? So right there we have, first of all, it's a new word, right? Tishpiration. So Tish, when you think of connecting with your ideal customer, that is Tishpiration, what does that bring to mind for you? And I'm going to invite others to jump in on this, right? This is like we're all just giving our best ideas here and helping Tish out. So when we think of Tishpiration, that's audio. What would a visual, Tish, go along with Tishpiration, the art of surprising yourself? What would that visual look like that you're going to put out there that's going to go with Tishpiration? Do you have any thoughts about that?
I do a lot of photos and selfies.
Yeah, you do some great ones.
That I can do.
Somebody
Confetti.
says it's colorful. Confetti is involved. Ooh, confetti. All
Do I have to
right.
send myself a glitter bomb?
Ooh, glitter. Yeah, glitter, confetti. Tishpiration. What else do you see in your mind's eye when we talk about tishpiration?
Galaxy. Nice.
Ooh, galaxy. And what did you say, Tish?
Somebody said galaxy, nice. And somebody says light bulb moment. I have a
Light bulb. Oh, yeah, light bulb moment. Galaxy. Great. Rainbows.
there's
Okay,
my light bulb.
There, yeah, your light
It's
bulb.
filled with purple glitter. I bought an idea.
Wonderful. Okay, so we have some auditory, we have some visual. Now, those are pretty easy ones for us. What do you think tishpiration might smell like? If I walked into a room,
My favorite flower from home, the wild Cape Breton rose. Absolutely. If I could get that
wow.
at perfume, I would do it.
Okay. How many people here know what a rose smells like? Yeah, right? We pretty much all know what a rose smells like. So, tishpiration.
But it's combined with the air of the Atlantic Ocean as well, because the
Ooh.
essence of being where that flower is
Uh-huh.
being on a path going to a beach, and the
Being
flowers line the path.
being on a path, going to a beach lined with these roses. Wow. Take a deep breath. Anybody else smell that now? Can you smell those roses in that Atlantic Ocean and that path that you're walking along? And it smells like tishpiration, right? Nice. You can see the path. Okay, great, Kim. So now you have the visual. How about the scent? Does anybody smell that? Sometimes we have to close our eyes and shut out our other senses to bring that sense of smell a little bit stronger. Can you smell that? Those roses along that path, along the Atlantic Ocean, where they bloom. I wish we could bottle that. Absolutely. And it's oh, Doug, I love that. It's the discovery on the path that is the surprise. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
All right. Now, yes, Doug. All right. Now we can smell this. We can see this glitter. We hear tishpiration. And how do we feel now? How do we feel? Where do we feel it in our bodies when we hear that word tishpiration and we see all this glitter and this purple light bulb and we're smelling these roses? How does it feel? Just give me a couple of words. Either unmute, free. It feels free, Kim. It feels happy. How else does it feel? Calm, relaxing, peaceful. Rolling up my spine like a cleansing breath. Wow, wow, wow. With a side of serendipity. I love that, Nancy. Oh, very powerful. Yes, doesn't it feel powerful? It feels empowered, right? Wow. One discovery opens our minds and senses to see the other surprises. Yeah, that's right, Doug. So I don't want to run over here. So sorry, guys. So I'm going to invite you back into the room. And that's just a quick example of experiential marketing and how we use all of our senses when we think about our marketing. And I invite you just to take your own tagline or your own vision, or what, even if you have a couple words that you put out there on your visuals. And I invite you to consider, what are some ways, what are some things, right, that you think of Do you need to get a little group together, just like we just did, and have that little session that you can all work together on that and have a, a mind session about that, and how that's going to work. And that's how abundance works into our business, right? And it works into our social media, and it works into all of those things that we do with our clients, so that we provide more value for our clients, and we also attract then the clients that are our ideal clients. And they resonate with us and we resonate with them. So I have a couple of freebies for you out there. I invite you to go out. One of those is the little quiz on, do I have a growth mindset or do I have a scarcity mindset? And, just like with anything, we're never all one or the other, right? We're pretty much never all one way or all the other. And we might, as we talked about earlier, we might be a growth mindset in one area of our life, and we might be a scarcity mindset in another. So when you take the little quiz, and just email me, if you'll put that in the chat there, maybe Jessica, the email, I will send you that quiz. And when you take the quiz, I invite you to consider what part of your life you're taking it for, right? Am I taking this for my business? Am I taking this for my relationships? Am I taking this for my finances, for my spirituality? Or for my business or my career, right? What area of my life am I focusing on when I'm taking this little quiz on scarcity and mindset? And then the second thing that I'm most excited about is I'm also offering a free full coaching session, a full 50-minute coaching session. So bring your mindset quiz. Let's talk about what that looks like in your life, and let's uncover some ways and that's going to work for you and that you're going to be able to move forward. So I look forward to having a conversation with each of you, and I hope that you have an abundant rest of your day. And thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Susan. Round of applause. Oh my gosh. Are you really able to do this? I thought that was amazing. The senses, and wow. I would be interested in doing a group with a few of you to see what senses come up. I think that is so awesome. Thank you, Susan, for the great